Welcome back to another episode of Excuse My Grandma. It's Kim and my co-host,
Grandma Gail.
We are recording again in the basement in my parents' Hamptons house.
And we're having a wonderful week because the weather has been beautiful. It's actually a little nippy now. The weather, dipped in temperature, so we're all wearing sweaters, and it's wonderful. It feels like fall is coming, Kim. I know it's a little soon. It isn't Labor Day yet, so we're still wearing white shoes.
Yeah, well, I know you always love to start talking about the weather on our podcast.
Well, the weather changes your personality and your mood. It really does.
The other day I was talking to my friends and they were like, it's been so hot. And I was like, well, we're having a heat wave. And they were like, oh, where, like, did you read that somewhere? And I was like, well, Grandma Gail said it, so it has to be true.
Well,
Are we having a heat wave?
We were having a heat wave when you said it because it's 3 days in a row that are over 90 is considered a heat wave. I know this because I watch Good Morning America's Weather Channel, the weather all morning long, so I have to start my day properly.
Yeah. Well, we both decided to stay out in the Hamptons for the last few weeks through Labor Day. But for some reason, I feel like it feels less busy than July.
Well, you know what it is? I think a lot of people took their children to college this week because a lot of the colleges start the middle of August. Okay. So you see a little decrease in activity, but it's still very, very busy because there's so many things coming up, especially this weekend. I know you had things last weekend that you could talk about, but this weekend is the start of the Hampton Classic, the horse show out here.
Oh, I thought it was Labor Day weekend.
No, it starts Sunday and goes through next week.
Oh, it starts on Sunday?
Yeah.
Okay. So,
when you have that horse show, it brings in people from all over the country who are lovers of the horse shows. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure it'll be, you can't move on the roads now, so I'm sure it'll be doubly busy then. But I must say tonight I'm going to see Young Frankenstein, which was Mel Brooks's musical.
I never saw the movie or anything.
I think you really need to take a trip into Sag Harbor. They have a wonderful little theater in Sag Harbor called the Bay Street Theater. And I've actually seen a couple of things this summer there. And it's very nice. It's a small little theater. The prices are a third of what you would pay in New York. And most of the performances are really quite good. I actually enjoy them. So, and it makes it so nice. The rows go back about 10. So wherever you're sitting, you really have a good view.
Mm-hmm. Did you ever take an acting class or anything?
No, I was a political science major. I was
know,
worrying about the world, even then. So, but all my worrying didn't do me any good. So we're in the mess we're in anyway.
But if you love theater.
I love theater, but that was just something that I think I always went with my parents, and my brother loved theater. One of my older of my younger brothers loved theater. So we used to go all the time. But that was a special treat for us to go to the theater, which it still is today. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was a lot less expensive in the 60s when we used to go as a family.
Right. It's interesting. I feel like it'd be less expensive now because I feel like less people are kind of going.
I don't know if that's true. Less people are going. I think there are more theaters now than ever.
I don't know.
And bigger venues. They used to be smaller theaters, and now they've made them huge mega theaters.
Yeah. Well, maybe. I guess I just don't know that many people around my age who like to go. But
well, it's because they work. And when you get off from work at 7 o'clock, you don't have time to go to either a 7 o'clock or an 8 o'clock performance. You just want to unwind a little bit. The work hours are very different now. When I was growing up, people would work 9 to 5.
Yeah.
And now days start at 7, and depending on if you're in certain markets where you have to deal with Asia or whatever, you're dealing 10 hours difference. Mm-hmm. So it's really Monday through Friday. It's very hard for young millennials and Gen Zers to really go to theater. It's a difficult thing to do.
I feel like you still don't believe when people say that like they have to work weekends or they're still working at 9 p.m. You're like, they can't be working. But
I think they are, and I think it's that's why they burn out so quickly, and which many of them do. When they leave, they don't stay in one job their whole lives. They really go about different stages in their career, and you see that more evident today than ever. That, if somebody stays in a job for 2-3 years, then they go off to something else, which when I was growing up, somebody graduated from high school or college and stayed there till they retired. Mm-hmm. So that's a very big difference.
Yeah, it's definitely very like work is the priority for a lot of people.
Oh, work and family. That's always been
Yeah.
the same. Work and family. You can't if you don't work, you don't have money to keep your family in groceries. So you have to work, and it just depends on the hours. Now, what's happening, I think today, which makes it a little different since COVID, is that a lot of offices on Monday and Fridays are closed, and people can work from their homes. A lot of people just go into their offices a couple of days and work from their home the rest of the week. I think that's going to eventually change, or maybe not. I think it's not as good for young people because they don't have the mentorship. But
Yeah.
it depends on your boss and on the company.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are glued to their computer no matter what, and especially
Correct.
if most of your like business is making phone calls and going on Zooms, it's too hard to be on an office with other people because no one has private offices, so it's just pretty distracting. I've
But
heard
I
from
do
my
think
friends.
there's a stimulus when you have other people around you. I mean, like when we went down to Google, you could see everybody sort of excited in the workplace. I do think that that should be more often in other offices, and it's not. Whether it be that they give food,
Yeah, but not
out
every
or
company
yeah.
is Google. And
Well, and
has,
they
like,
can't
the
afford to be
budget
Google,
to have
exactly.
an office like that.
But I think young people really would like that because, being a solitary figure in your room looking at a computer screen is pretty awful.
Especially when they care when you are where you are, because I think like work from home doesn't mean like go on vacation and
No.
be working and
No, it's still working, but you're working. You're working. You don't have to commute. I think that's the very big thing that has changed. People, who don't live near their offices used to sometimes take up to an hour and a half to get to their destination where they had to work. And now, if you can work at home 2 days a week, it takes the stress off of that.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good thing.
What else did you do this week?
Well, this week I had some ladies out to my house this week. I was very excited because I invited some people from different parts of the Hamptons because nobody really wants to go from town to town. This is something we've talked about many times. And since I live in East Hampton, to go from Southampton to East, that's like a day trip. So I invited people who don't normally come to my home, and we had a fun lunch. I ordered food from Sable's, and I couldn't imagine that people ate as much as they really did. They loved it. And then I got things from the farm, desserts with the zucchini bread and brownies from my favorite farm out here. So we had fun, and it was fun to do this. I don't do it very often because I'm with you so much.
Host?
Well, not only host, but just to have the day where we're not working and we're
That
not
is
filming.
so not true.
Oh, now I'm
Most
telling
days
a
you're
fib?
going and playing cards and doing whatever. Like I make you do things like twice a week.
Oh, now it's down to twice a week. Okay. All right, I'm going to hold you to that.
No, I don't know if it's actually twice a week, but it's definitely time to go to lunch with your friends.
Yeah, but I don't usually choose to because they're all going to play cards and I can't.
Every single day of the week?
Yeah, they play every day.
Same group?
No, there are lots of different people out here. We have lots there. That's the one thing when you reach a certain age, you all reach out to each other. You have common interests, and the basic interest is to have lunch and
So,
play
like, what
a game.
do their husbands do when they're playing cards?
I don't know what their husbands do. A lot of them are not married anymore, so
Okay.
it's what it is. But a lot of the men also play cards, or they play golf, or they sit in their house and read, or watch the stock market.
And that's what men do when we're not looking.
Yes.
They watch
Well,
the
hopefully
stock market.
that's hopefully what they're doing when we're not looking.
Yeah, literally.
I
Okay,
just saw
well-
JLO and Ben Affleck filed for divorce this morning.
Oh, really?
On their 2-year anniversary. That gives everybody a wonderful feeling. 2
I mean-
years, big ring, big wedding, 90 different venues,
Yeah.
divorced. I mean, I
Is
sort
it
of
like confirmed?
well, it was in the picture in the paper. I gather it's correct. The Post doesn't lie. But what I think that signals to young
Yeah, it's
people is
true.
to stop watching all these phony romances that you read about in the paper.
I was not
They're all
jealous
lies.
of them. I did not want that relationship for 1 second.
Oh, really? I thought it was nice. I thought he had
Like,
he had
aren't they both,
re
like, she's a nightmare, right?
I don't know her personally. She doesn't call me to have lunch, but if she'd like to join the canasta game, she's more than welcome, as long as she doesn't wear any of her outfits so we get upset.
Why would you be upset?
Because we don't look like her.
Like jealous?
Yeah, I think there'd be a lot of jealousy across the canasta table.
Damn. I'm not sure if she knows how to play cards.
Well, we could teach her.
Okay.
It's not brain surgery.
Okay.
But anyway, I think what's going on out here is basically you did a concert, what was it, Friday night?
I went to Surf Lodge for a little bit on last Friday, because it is so expensive to get a ticket to get into that door of this bar, and Friday is less expensive than Saturday, but it's still crazy. And then plus to get to Montauk and like the Uber and whatever. So we had lunch before, but
it was a whole day activity.
yeah, it was nice. It was my first time at Surf Lodge this season, and it's like the end of the summer already, but it's just like seeing it on Instagram, it's always so packed and so sceney and whatever. I saw Harry Jousey, who was on our podcast probably over a year ago now. He did a shirtless interview with us.
He's very handsome.
We loved it. And he was with some other people. And like I love watching all the influencers and reality TV people, so like I recognized all of them, but I didn't know the other ones personally. But Surf Lodge, like that's what it's become. It's like just like influencers, or because really it was a tequila company that got a table for them there, so I think they like bring a lot of them in, like the brands.
Well, it's
buy
good
a table.
publicity for the Surf Lodge. I mean, if they didn't have those people there, believe me, within a month or so it would be dead.
Maybe.
So
if people wanting, like, I wonder if they lose people when they see that influencers are going.
Sure, and they don't pay for it. Those people don't pay.
No, that's what I'm saying. A brand brought them, like
right.
a tequila company brought them.
Exactly.
But we have not been invited to a Surf Lodge table.
Stephen Talk has had a charity this weekend, and I know what's his name? Stern was there, or Howard Stern, and it was for a good cause. I believe it was for actually for Parkinson's, I think. But whatever, they had a whole group of it was closed to the public, and they do a lot of that out here, which is very, very good.
I haven't been to Talk House this summer yet. I don't know if I will, to be honest. But
well, I think your brother likes it because it's a lot of young college
kids. It is, but then also like Matt was telling me all the celebrities that were there, and they were like, I forgot exactly who it was, but like Jimmy Fallon, for instance.
Well, he's always there.
He's old.
He's old. Well, he is old.
So it's not only for.
No,
I
think if you like jazz, and the problem is it's a hassle getting in, even if you have a VIP thing.
It's the getting in and the waiting in line, and
exactly.
I find that with going out in general, unless you're going out to someone's house, or if you find out about like a specific event. Like for instance, I had a girlfriend staying with me last weekend. And she heard about this event that Blade, the helicopter company, was having with the League. Like it was like, which is a dating app, and they did like a collaboration, and they just had like a singles mixer at Billabouquet.
Well, that's fun.
So she was staying with me because she wanted to go to this, and I was like, I have nothing to do. I'll come along with some of my other friends. It was like nice to hang out with everybody, but. Okay, we are going to answer some listener questions from Ask Grandma Anything. You guys wrote them in on Instagram. Okay. First question is, what's a green flag to look for in a man?
A green flag? I think somebody who basically is funny, got a good job, and likes being with you. I think on a first or second date, it's all about meeting and sharing where you came from and college experiences or high school or whatever. And then as it progresses, you see if you have same interests. If you have some commonality of interests, then you can go even further on to the third and fourth date and see what else you like to do together. Maybe you like to jog or play tennis or go to the theater. So I think it's the green light is slow. Green flag, sorry, Kim. I think it's just finding if you're on the same page, let's say. That's
not what a green flag is.
Oh, what is it?
A green flag is like a quality in someone else, like being on the same page isn't something you can like see in a person. Like what you said about funny and kind, like that's a green flag.
Oh, all right. Okay.
How do you get over someone completely?
I don't think you ever really do. I don't think you ever get over somebody that was important to you. But
disagree.
Okay. All right, good. So I know I still think 60 years later or 62 years later about people that I dated and some of the things that I liked about them. It doesn't mean that I ended up with them, but
But you're over them.
well, you're over them. You're over them because you've moved on. But I don't think there's a time limit of forgetting. I don't think anybody ever forgets. You never forget your first kiss. You never forget your first love. You never forget your many things in life. That doesn't mean that you never have other experiences.
Yeah, but I think getting over, so like that means like you still have feelings for someone and you don't want, like, you can't move on. That's what, you haven't gotten over someone. That's what that would mean.
Well, some people never get over other people, but they know that it's not the right thing, so they move on to the next chapter.
How to get yourself out of a rut, feeling stuck in life, career, relationship, not working out.
Well, that's very hard, especially, a career in today's day and age. It's, you're trained to do one thing, and all of a sudden, if it becomes boring or whatever, maybe you have to find a different slant to that career. It's not that easy out there to recreate yourself. So, perhaps taking an extra course, maybe asking friends what they're doing. Maybe it's something that might interest you as well. And getting out of a rut in a relationship, that takes a lot of creativity. You got to figure out things that would be fun together and try to make new memories and new things to do together. I mean, life is not a bunch of cherries. There are a lot of lemons that come along, and you have to make the best of it. So you create things that you can maybe have fun with together. And if you can't, which many often happens, and you don't want to end it, you just have to go about your own business and try to create a little bit of fun in things that you enjoy to do yourself.
Yeah. When I feel like stuck, I feel like it's important to sit down and like even write down like what is important to you and kind of get back to like goals that you want to achieve in your career, and then actually set out ways to do it and like have more of a strategy, because sometimes you like lose your actual like goal in the midst of everything else going on. Same thing in a relationship, like actually knowing what you want and what you want to achieve will help you get there versus just like scrambling.
Yeah, well, I think it's easier said from a 20-year-old's perspective, but if you're 40 and 50 and 60 years old and in a career that you're no longer really excited with, or in a relationship, you have to be a little creative, because not every time do you want to just throw it all away. So I think at different times in your life, you think about this differently, and there's nothing wrong with that. And sometimes ask a family friend or a friend, what they're thinking, any suggestions they might have.
How do you stay fit now, and then how did you stay fit when you were younger in your 30s, 40s, 50s?
Well, I always did exercise. I did exercise at home. I played a lot of tennis when I was in my 30s, 40s, and 50s. I played golf in my 60s and 70s. So I always walked. I always was active. Now I don't do as much, but I still do a tremendous amount of walking. I try to walk as much as I can. It doesn't have to be 5 miles at one time, but I will get up in the morning. I'll do a little walk after lunch, during midday, so that you're not sedentary. I think the worst thing, and I also never really gained weight. I was very fortunate. My metabolism always basically stayed the same. So, I mean, of course, not when I was 20, 21, 25. I was a size 4. I'm not that now. But I always tried to keep my weight in balance, because I think that helps you a lot. But I really I wasn't crazy about that much food. I loved chocolate and I loved peanut butter. So that was a very big weakness, I must say, I had, and I still have.
I definitely have that one.
But I pretend it's healthy.
But you never did like a workout class, like group class?
No, I never did. Well, first of all, I don't think there were group classes. I shouldn't say that. Jane Fonda started all that in the 70s. No, I never really did a group class. I never really liked that. I was always the worst one. I have tried them, but I was never very good at it. Everybody was lifting their leg much higher than I was. So I sort of never got motivated to doing it. Some people just adore it. I never really liked it.
Someone said, where is your hubby during shooting?
Well, hopefully he's watching the stock market so we can make some money. I don't, he's not really into the shooting of any of the films with us. That's not his business. Kimmy and I are self-employed in our own company, and he's not a part of it. He loves it. He enjoys watching us, but from afar.
He has his own activities. Were you and Poppy ever invited to Truman Capote's Plaza Hotel Black and White Ball?
No. Truman Capote was a little before my time, and by the time he was really at his worst, I was already married. So I was definitely never in Truman Capote's scene.
How do you fit this new job into your existing lifestyle and schedule?
Well, it has been tricky because I've made changes in my lifestyle. Where Kim, if we have meetings or we have to do shooting or we have to do something, then I put aside what, I normally would have been my routine. I don't really play golf, but that really was a thing. I wasn't going to play very much golf anymore anyway. But I put aside a lot of the bridge games that I would have, and I enjoy working. I enjoy meeting these new people that we've met on our podcast and a lot of the activities that we've been invited to. And it's a learning experience, which I think at my age or at any age, it's fun to learn new things.
And you do say if you don't want to cancel something that's in your existing schedule, and then we'll go around that.
Yeah,
too.
I mean, exactly. If it's something important that I feel,
like a
if it's somebody's
nail.
special birthday, an occasion, we work around those events.
Okay. Write in more questions the next time we do an Ask Grandma Anything on Instagram. If you don't already follow us, it's Excuse My Grandma. Our following's going up. We'll hopefully be at 500,000 before we know it. So tell your friends to follow us too. And we will talk to you soon.
Bye.